Heroin and its effects on Ohio. Do you know anyone addicted to heroin? Are you addicted to heroin? Do you even know what addiction is? Have you buried someone addicted to heroin? Being in a small town, there wasn't much of an addiction problem going on. But I've had friends, family, and I've even watched people get buried that were addicted to heroin. What is heroin? It is a very addictive drug derived from morphine. When it enters into the system, the body, it converts into morphine itself. How heroin became a problem. In the 60s, the Chinese brought heroin over with them from their country as they were working on the railroads to help bring in more of an income for their families. It was easier to get than beer or anything like that, so they would use the opiate dens instead of saloons. During the Civil War, half of the population of the soldiers were addicted to morphine. So in 1847, the Bayer Company in Germany came up with a problem solver called heroin. Today it is still a problem. It's a problem because it's cheap, easy to find, easy to use. It's a better high than most opiates, and there is abundance of it throughout the state of Ohio. Other problems that being addicted to heroin might cause is stealing, prostitution, crime in general, because addicts will do anything that they can do to get their next high. Another name for heroin: H, brown, black, tar, horse, dimorphine, and opiate. The average age is 15 to 64, but the youngest ever recorded is a 13-year-old. The number of people that use is 9.2 million people daily. 54 8 to 10th graders in 3 schools in Trumbull County were caught using heroin in 1 year. The death toll doubles yearly. Ohio is the 12th highest state for heroin addiction. The record-breaking amount of deaths was found in 2013. Cuyahoga County had 93 people addicted and died in the first half of 2013. And the major cause of death is the shortness of breath. Misuses of heroin injected, such as shooting up, banging, slamming. There's also smoking, inhaling, and suppository, as well as snorting. If you misuse heroin with dirty needles or anything like that, you can cause serious diseases such as HIV, AIDS, and hepatitis. There's also health risks. Your liver could fail, causing liver disease, collapsed veins, infection of the heart valves, and the lining of the heart, and it can also cause death. Signs of addiction according to Timberland Knowles. Shortness of breath, tiny pupils, your behavior changes. There's also your alertness becomes a lot more. You become a lot more alert because you're afraid of getting caught doing the drug. You get dry mouth, thirsty, and once you start doing the drug, your appearance starts to droop. After injection, it enters the blood-brain barrier, which causes a rush of warm flushing to the skin. Dry mouth, you start breathing a lot slower. You become a lot irritable. When you stop using, you become restless, you get insomnia, diarrhea, vomiting, cold flashes, muscle pain, irritability. In 1914, Woodrow Wilson passed the Harrison Narcotic Act, which stopped the taxes on narcotics being transported into the U.S. Drug scope. According to Drug Scope, the government nowadays is trying to stop it by reducing demand, restricting supply, and help build recovery in the communities itself. According to drug rehab support, there's a lot of rehabs throughout the state of Ohio. There's about 75 rehabs. Not all rehabs were basically made for heroin, but once heroin became so common in Ohio, a lot of the people who did the profession went back to get heroin as part of their study. Not all rehabs are for just the person doing the drug. There's a lot of rehabs that have to do with the families. The person addicted, the families, people around the families, children of them addicted, everything. Depending on where you go, it does not defect on the rate of the help itself. It determines how addicted you were to heroin. So if you ever see anyone in your community that is addicted, if you know anyone that's addicted, if you're thinking about doing it yourself, think of these facts before you start doing the addiction. Try thinking of this before you try helping someone. Any questions?
No.
Okay.
6:13.